In this video, we're going to be talking about what happens when moms and dads become parents and they start to lose themselves. I don't want that to happen, and I don't think you want it to happen either. So let's go. Let me tell you a little story. So recently, my good friend Alicia Wagner and I were going and we were giving a breakout session at a women's summit, leadership summit on mompreneurship, how to balance between being a mom and owning a business. And we did this Faces of Motherhood activity. So what Alicia told them to do was she gave them index cards and she said, on each index card, I want you to write down the top 5 aspects of your identity that makes up you. And so they each wrote them down, and then we gave them a few minutes, and then Alicia dropped a bomb on them. The bomb was, she was like, how many of you wrote on your index card, or one of your index cards, you? You should have seen all the women in the audience just sit back in their chair and be like, oh my gosh, I've lost a part of who I am in this version of me as a mother. I don't want that to happen to moms or dads because it's too much pressure for the kids, for the individual, like the mom or the dad. And then also it's not good for the partner. And then that starts to cause marriage problems. And so we want to make sure, what we want to do is we want to make sure that as parents, moms and dads, that we are having a multi-dimensional identity. So multi-dimensional is a very big word. Essentially what it means is that we want to have different aspects, a variety of aspects of who we are. Because what happens psychologically is if our identity is only tied into one thing, being a mom or a dad, what happens to your self-worth when that one aspect of your identity takes a hit? It's nothing good. It's typically depression, and you feel like you're not good enough because the one thing that your identity is built all around just crashed. And so as parents, we want to have a multi-dimensional identity. So what that means is we need to continue to do the things that make us whole. So I remember when I became a new mom, I was a professor at a university and I was this researcher, and a lot of what my identity, a big part of my identity of who I was I was the person who got shit done. Oh, you need something to go from A to B and you have this great idea, but you need someone to execute it? Give it to Dre. She'll make it happen. Then I had twins, and I'm starting to notice that, that whole go-getter, get shit done persona that I was, being a mom kind of pew, 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 throws a big wrench in that dream, that identity of oh, I'm the one that gets shit done. Pew, 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 pew. It goes away, because that's not the season that I was in. And for a while, I struggled with that because I still tried to do as much as I was trying to do before and get as much accomplished as I was before, but it wasn't working for me, it wasn't working for my kids, and it wasn't working for my husband. And so I had to do some introspection. I had to become more aware of okay, I can't be the one who does all the things and gets shit done. Now that is returned because my youngest is in kindergarten. So that is nice to have that part of my identity come back. But so like going back to you all, it's we need to come up with all of the aspects that make you you and write those out and figure out, okay, which are the ones that you can let go of right now? And which ones do you still want to hold on tight to as best you can? And the ones that you want to hold on tight to, those are the ones that you want to make time for. So, or do you enjoy reading? Continue to read. Join a book club. If the book club is, other moms with wine and beer, go for it. If it's a one that's walking, if you're a cyclist and that's a big part of your identity, go for it. Seek out those opportunities so that you have a multi-dimensional identity. So seek out those aspects. I think another thing is making sure for those married folks out there, making sure that you're prioritizing your marriage. Because if your marriage is not prioritized, well, then the rest of the family unit is not going to be functioning well. And then it's going to hurt the kids. It's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your spouse. So prioritize your marriage and really be like, no, like part of my identity is being married. Like I am so-and-so's spouse. I think another part of your identity is continuing to explore new things. So explore those new things that you're interested in. And if you can bring kids in, bring kids in. And here's my last tip for you all. And this is going to sound it might sound so crazy. I don't know, maybe it's not. But this is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to identity. When you are introducing yourself to other people that are in the area, the world of your children, put your name first. Don't refer to yourself as, hi, I'm Charlotte's mom, Andrea. Reverse it. Because your name is so important, and I want people to know what your name is. And so what I want you to do is when you introduce yourself, say, hi, my name's Andrea, and I'm Charlotte's mom. Your name goes first. And why is this such a pet peeve? I remember within the last year, I was picking up my kids from school and this other mom came up to me and she's like, hey, are you Charlotte and Connor's mom? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm Andrea. And she's like, oh, I'm so-and-so's mom. I'm like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. She never introduced herself. To this day, I don't know what her name is. I know she's so-and-so's mom. My kids would love to do a play date, but I don't know what her name is. I mean, I can figure it out, so I probably in the next few weeks will, but introduce yourself using your name. So let's recap. We'll go backwards. Introduce yourself using your name and developing a multidimensional identity. Continue to do those things that you value. Continue to think about the things that you need to keep doing in this season versus the things that you should let go of, like mine and like being the person who gets shit done. So, I'm Dr. Dre. This is how to kind of get your identity back or address your identity crisis. And these are practical ways. Join me on throat punching this youth mental health crisis that we found ourselves in.